And
so I punched that
yeah, right.
Oh my god. Wrecked him and nearly killed him. Hey everybody, Adam here, recovering from a cold, so it's not the audio this time, it's me.
That's fair.
Today we're joined by Danny, and as always John, because it's his stuff.
That's right. Got to do it.
So 3 out of the, 6 LVO judges?
Yeah, 3 out of 6.
Of various events now?
Yeah,
right.
because we each get assigned different things.
I think we're doing like all of them because they're all in the same room.
Yeah, but like there's like a lead judge for them. They can come to any of us for rule stuff, but there's a lead
For that specific
event. Right.
So
I don't remember signing on for extra duties, but that's okay, Reese.
all I know is I saw Gladiator and then doubles along with the Sunday ITT.
Nice. I should probably look at mine.
John just opened his Christmas gift for the show.
I like it. Thank you very much. This is good.
I'm sure your wife will agree with it.
I'm gonna keep that in a drawer. She won't know. All right.
Oh, there you go, Jeff. Jeff's
Yay.
always with us.
Yeah.
Jeff's always here with us.
So
Number 1 in our hearts.
Yes.
Not really.
Wow. Damn. I'm not even that cold.
So a couple things. We got 2 lists from one person this week. First of all, happy holidays, everybody. Hope everybody had a fun and, more importantly, safe holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully everybody got a lot of 40K or Age of Sigmar.
Yeah.
I got none.
I got none.
I didn't.
I've always gotten practical gifts.
It's because you're a dad and you're old.
It's true.
And I'm now a dad and getting old, so that's...
That was even,
Also true. All these things are true.
Even before that, always practical.
Yeah, I rarely got 40K stuff. Like, there's a couple of Christmases where I did when I was younger, but
No,
I haven't for a while.
Most I got was a gift certificate. That was it.
no.
From our local store.
I got a camera for streaming, which is cool.
That counts.
There we go.
So I was trying it out the other night. If you guys were watching when I was playing a video game, it's supposed to remove the background.
And
It did, but the problem was I was wearing
green.
so I was wearing a dark color with the dark color background that we're using right now, right, with the flag.
Okay.
But without the flag, obviously. And then I switched it around, but that one is the same color as my skin almost. So like my arms were disappearing.
Oh man.
Like my head was there because of the headphones, so it like framed out my head properly, but then like my arms would disappear while streaming. So if I just, I don't know. If I use the dark background with a lighter shirt, it'll be fine.
Okay.
So I'll try it again at some
We
point.
should be able to see like different backgrounds soon. Is that what you're telling us?
Yeah, and then I have to figure out how to put a background.
Okay.
Like for the show, I think it's easy because I just make sure that camera's the top layer, and then I put whatever pictures you want behind it. I can even put like a giant slideshow behind us.
That'd be cool.
But I also have to figure out if that camera can recognize 2 people.
What if they're different skin tones?
I know.
That's what I was worrying about. So
Oh.
if it can't, then we go back to the other idea of just using a green screen. So we'll see.
Oh my God. Now that goes well with our weather talk
Oh, yeah.
earlier.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, we got a list from Chris, listener Chris. He sent 2 lists, both with Space Wolves. It's more of a for a narrative campaign, but you still want to be somewhat competitive.
Yeah.
So what we have is Bjorn with the Last Cannon, Harold Deathwolf, and a Rune Priest with a jump pack and runic stuff, which he literally did put runic stuff.
Right.
Blood Claws, Grey Hunters, both with Power Fist. Blood Claws has 2 Flamers, Grey Hunters, 2 Plasma Guns, and then more Grey Hunters with 2 Melta Guns, Power Fist, and the Wolf Standard, which I don't know what it does. And then Wolfen, Thunderwolf Cav, and then Long Fangs with Plasma,
And 2 rhinos.
and 2 with 4 Last Cannon. So I guess the, what's the sergeant called? Ancient? No.
For the Space Wolves, it's a Wolfguard leader, battle leader, right?
I thought the Long
No,
Fangs
Wolfguard
had
battle-
a special, he was called something else.
Oh yeah, he is. I don't remember what he's called though.
Yeah, because nobody plays Space Wolves anymore.
No,
They're still a thing?
I will once they have their own codex. I'm sure because I've always played them when they're good.
You're assuming they're going to be good.
They'll be good.
But
Space Wolves,
there's Space
Space Wolves
Marines.
when they come out have never been bad. every Space Wolf Codex has been good. It's had good builds that are competitive.
Yeah.
Every single one.
It's never been bottom tier.
It's never been Blood Angels or Dark Angels, where their books come out and people go, "This sucks."
Yeah, where they need a second edition
Right.
of the book. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 2 rhinos with 100 killers, and that's the army.
Okay.
He doesn't give us.
Which one is Harold Deathwolf? Is that no? So
Harald Deathwolf is the guy on the Thunderwolf with the axe. Yeah, he's the special character.
Yeah.
okay, well, I mean, it's got
No,
because I know the one on the Thunderwolf with the claws
Harold Deathwolf
is Canis Wolf.
Yeah, but Deathwolf. Okay, so he's either the other Wolf Lord on the wolf with the axe, or he's the special character from the box.
He's a special character from the box.
From the box set.
Ah, okay.
So he's got the big double-headed axe. That guy's a cool model too.
Yeah.
Space Wolves have really cool models.
They do. I mean,
Yes.
with the exception of Santa Claus, but
Even that's cool
and Murderface.
if
Fang.
you do it correct. Yeah, you can't put the face on Murder Fang.
Yeah.
You gotta.
So he
regular.
can outflank, but he's by himself.
Right.
Huh.
He has a storm shield.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
He reroll hits a 1, just like any other chapter master or captain.
No.
Yeah.
Thunderwolf. Oh, he buffs Thunderworld.
Yeah, he
So
buffs
he-
Thunderwolves, but he doesn't.
So he is the guy on the Thunderwolf.
No.
No, he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. He's the character on the
But the
Thunderwolf. Yeah.
model is without the Thunderbolt.
Okay.
At least the model they're showing here.
Really?
Yeah. And it says.
Oh no, that's Dragon Gaze.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the guy from the box
Gaze is
set.
model from the
Yeah.
box set. Harold Deathwolf.
Yeah. He has a model. There's a model for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm assuming he goes with the Thunder Calf because there's 4 of them.
Yeah, so he goes near him. Because you can't go with anymore.
Right.
Okay, with me.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, the Thunderwolf characters for Space Wolves, I mean, I'm still surprised we don't see more builds that are, especially when character spam was more of a thing, of having multiple Thunderwolf characters, because they're under 10 wounds, they still hit pretty hard, they're pretty resilient, they're not that expensive.
I think they're just expensive enough that people won't want to take them, because, like, Harold Deathwolf or whatever is 188, but
Yeah.
the other ones can get pricey really quick.
Yeah.
Like, he was even in the last edition, he was like the poor man's Thunder character.
Right.
Same with, like, Canis.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ford Thunderwolf Calf with Wolf Claw Storm Shield is 240.
Right. Which isn't that bad. I mean, I think the problem is they just die too fast because they're still just Space Marines.
Right.
Yeah.
And everything in this edition kills everything so easily.
Yeah, well, especially in, they're still T5, but that's still wounded on, fives by pretty much everything. Right.
Yeah.
Um,
Who was in our chat today yesterday who was saying, like, they have 18 mortars and they're just never going to leave house without them ever again? Like, it's just in every list. It's Tim, right?
Tim.
I think that's Tim.
Because it's cheap, so why would you not just take your 18 mortars?
Yeah, unit of 3 is only 33 points.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean that's the name of 8th edition, right? Is beyond anything else. It's just super points efficiency when it comes to being able to just put wounds on things, because that's what it comes down to. Since everything can get hurt now, and
Right.
if you can put wounds on something, it'll die eventually, and if you can do that cheaply, all the better, right?
That's true. I mean, I don't dislike the lists. I think that they just suffers from the same things Space Wolves suffer from all of 8th edition, which is there's just not enough there, and not enough's going to get there, and there's not enough, like, they're an army that's mixed, like, and he's trying to mix. He's mixing the long range and he's mixing the short range, and like, it's not like
Combined
Primaris
arms
Marines,
doesn't
which are
necessarily
really
work,
good
yeah.
up close,
Right.
or like Dev Spam when it was good with Gilliman.
That's still good.
It's still good, but it's not dominant.
Right.
He
It's
does have a second list.
he's missing 3 Fire Raptors from the list. I mean, there's certain key
There's
elements.
There's our expert analysis. More
There
Fire
we go.
Raptor.
His second list is a list that would have the Rune Priest and the entire Vanguard detachment outflank, or Deep Strike, whatever you want to call it.
Sure.
And that one is Bjorn, a Rune Priest with Jump Pack, 10 Blood Claws, Power Fist, Grey Hunters, and then Thunderwolf again, Long Fangs, Rhinos, and then an HQ, a Vanguard with Herald,
Yeah, Death Wolf.
Yeah.
Wolf Scouts, Wolfen.
I like that one better.
Yeah,
I think
like double Wolfen.
Yeah.
It's just Wolfen,
especially because they're going to be outflanking or deep strike, whatever.
So your opponent's only going to get really one turn to whittle them down, and if you're canny, which I think most people need to remember, is that just because you can come in turn one doesn't mean you should.
Correct.
Right, and so I think 2 units of Wolfen popping up out of nowhere on turn 2 or 3 can be pretty game shifting pretty quickly.
Yes.
If you've had some time to whittle down, absorb some of their fire, right, even just get some of their heavier hitters out of position, then you can really let the Wolfen kind of do what they do. And if they get there and they get to swing first, they're just going to murderize things.
Yeah, for sure.
Just like in 7th edition. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems what we're seeing is that if you're going to take anything, you have to basically double it.
Yes, redundancy. Well, but redundancy has always been part of the
But you don't have to
right?
spam, I don't think.
No, but there's a difference between spam and redundancy because it's just Wolfen are the best pound for pound melee unit that Space Wolves have.
Yes.
Right.
Oh my
So
God, yes.
you could do it with Wolfen and Thunderwolf Cav. That's just less efficient, right? It's just making sure if you want a bad mamma jamma melee unit, you really need 2 because you have to assume one's not going to make it, right? Or it's going to flub its rolls or fail the charge, whatever.
Wow.
I mean, it's the same with like shooting, right? If one unit of long fangs with 4 las cannons can do some work, but you really need to make sure you have 2, right? Or another unit that can really pump out shooting because one of them's going to die.
Right.
Or one of them's not going to have range or LOS to the target it needs to have.
Yeah.
Right?
Or you're going to fail 5 9-inch charges.
Yes.
That's true, too.
Like I did against my brother.
Hey, man, that's asking a lot from the dice gods.
Yeah, man. Average is 7.
Average is 7, so I should have made at least 1.
Right.
Yeah, but that's not like a huge deviation, right? Like that's not like, man, I can't believe I missed 5 3-inch charges. That's when you really get to bitch, right?
Right.
Like, that's when it's like,
It was actually 3 charges with 2 of them getting a reroll.
yeah.
And I couldn't use a command point to reroll one die because I already used reroll both dice with the banner for
Of course.
berserkers.
Right, that makes sense.
This is why I think Darian speaks the truth of melee is always, no matter what, going to be weaker than shooting because there's just more randomness associated with melee, right?
Yes.
Because you have to carry shooting, it's just hits,
Yeah.
right?
That's why back in 3rd and 4th, when it was just a straight, it was only 6 inches, but you knew what it was.
Yeah.
You knew what it was.
You got it.
And unless you misjudged it,
Right. Which you could because there was no.
there's no pre-measuring. And then also you could always roll into new combats.
That was
Consolidate into a new combat. So it was there was much less
you
variation.
Now the problem is it's just easier to get away.
Right.
Yeah, and but you can't necessarily swing, right? Like back in the glory days,
Right, but
you can set it up to where you can start getting chain attacks.
But right now I can still do that. At least get it ready for the next turn or the next round. But your opponent can just get away without any penalty.
Yeah,
right.
that's the big problem with assault, in my opinion, is that the opponent can just walk away from the assault,
right?
And then your great assault unit gets lit up. Like Corn Berserkers are amazing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But the enemy walks away, lights them up with the whole army, they all die because it's just Space Marines.
Yeah, I mean, at least with Corn Berserkers, I mean, with that you really, and it's expensive because it's 3 CPs, you have to save that fight again thing so you can get them to have 3 movements, so you can lock up even more stuff or even orbit around to pin models in place because unless they fly, right, they can't fall back if they physically can't move. Right, and that's the trick used with Hormigons, anything that can move a lot during the fight phase as part of Consolidate. But it's hard and you have to be really good at model positioning, and your opponent has to be kind of bad at it.
Yeah.
Because, if you have one model out of position that's just too close, it can't orbit correctly to get to that perfect sandwich where there's no mathematical way for a circle to move across 2 other circles without, crossing the plane.
Right.
So it also leads to tons of arguments where it's like, no, you can't do that.
Yes, it does.
Which we've witnessed.
Yeah. Which can kind of lead us into another topic.
That's a different topic.
Let's give Chris his chances.
But the other thing is, the one thing I would hope eventually would happen, but I mean I don't think it will because it's a core rule.
Right.
Is if just like a free strike, like with I think War Machine has a free strike.
D&D has free strikes, right?
Yeah, D&D has free strikes.
Yeah, like most game systems have a mechanic where if you're running away from combat, the people in the combat with you can be like, "Fuck you going?"
Yeah.
And like shoot you or swing at you or like.
Speaking of D&D. my nephews came over and we played. I did a quick session with them just because they wanted to play. So they do their little adventure. I said, okay, well, the guy pays you X amount of gold.
Right.
All right, how do you guys want to split it? And these are 2 twins that are 10, and then the oldest is 13.
Oh, God.
So they look at me and they're like, one of the twins looks at me and just goes, I'll just kill them and take the money. I'm like, okay, roll initiative. So, and it ended up one of the twins ended up
That's so awesome.
winning the combat.
You know they played too many video games when...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They play all the time. So.
PUBG.
Yes. Now you get reported for killing your teammates in that one.
At least in the PC version, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Xbox.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Well, as far as I know, you haven't been reported.
I've never killed a teammate on purpose.
Oh,
Oh, no, I did. I killed Tom a couple times.
yes.
But that was to end the game. We needed to move on. So,
Anyway.
okay.
So, Chris, I think the second list is the stronger list.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
something
agree.
with the 2 units of Wolfen is definitely,
Yeah, definitely a better one.
So go with that one.
Yes.
But speaking of
Rules lawyering.
rules
lawyering.
rules lawyering,
I call it rules abuse.
Fair enough.
Because rules lawyering, I feel is different than rules abuse.
No, rules
Whereas
gymnastics.
a rule abuser or rules abusers,
No.
right? People who look for loopholes in the rules on purpose
Right.
to spring a trap on an opponent, surprise them with a raw argument.
Right.
No, I can do this technically by the raw. And I've been noticing online, and I've been noticing in games and at tournaments that the rules abusers either have stopped coming,
Right.
or they're having a really hard time and they're bringing up all kinds of crazy random stuff, trying to find these small niches that they used to be able to do all the time.
Right.
And you can't do them anymore. And it's even like this thing now where the TOs and the judges are also just being like, no, you can't do that. Why? Because it's dumb.
Right. Well, I think
Because it's not what's intended.
This is something I've said when GW first started putting out the FAQs at the beginning of 8th edition of the raw versus rye argument, right, is kind of settled because GW has made their intent known, right?
Yes.
They're active in the community again, right? And even if it's an unofficial ruling
Right.
from one of the rules designers, they're pretty clear about, like, that's stupid, no, right? So we have, as TOs, as judges, we have a lot more, essentially, much more of a foundation to be like, this is not how it was intended to be played.
Yeah.
Even if there is some kind of super narrow argument that might support you, it just goes against common sense.
Well, and I think another big benefit is also the fact that a lot of the big TOs are also, they help play the game.
Yes.
They help test it, and they're active in the FAQ process,
Right.
and they're active in some of the design processes still, depending on who they are. And so there's people in our community who have an actual idea of what the true intention is.
Right. No, I think that really helps. I mean, I also think that it's one of those small things that has, I think, helped lead to this is thanks to certain people, more TOs are talking to each other on Facebook, right? And it just becomes this, oh my God, I got this stupid question this last tourney, right? And that kind of being able to actually put us together, it helps because, someone might try some shenanigan in the middle of nowhere, RTT. We have no idea about that, right? Why would we know? But actually having TOs and judges talk to each other, right, and kind of come with a more cohesive movement. And again, that we also have GW's FAQs, right? It's not about like, well, ITC rules it this way and Nova rules it this way.
Right.
This
That's
is what GW
all gone
says
basically at this point.
is how it happens.
Jeff, to answer your question, all rules questions should be sent to the Frontline Gaming question. They have an email for rules questions for the LVO. So, and for all their events. So you should send all those legitimate rule questions that remain unanswered there.
Legitimate only.
Well, I've seen some of the ones that he gets. So I think they'd prefer Jeff's legitimate rules questions rather than the random nonsense. Yeah, I know Jeff's are going to be fine. Rather than some of the random nonsense that happens to come through.
Luckily now, there's a Facebook group for TOs, and you have to be a TO.
Yes,
I think
or a judge.
Or a judge that actually vet it.
Because I'm not a TO, but I'm in the group because I'm a judge.
Right.
Yeah, and they do vet the group.
Yeah,
The admins vet the group.
So anything that comes up in some small RTT, in the middle of the country or anywhere, it comes up in the Facebook group, so a lot of us see it.
No, Ray, I'm doing this. I can't play PUBG with you right now.
But they need one more, man.
I know. They're always looking for a fourth. Maybe later. Yeah, you're welcome, Jeff. We're giving that answer to everybody who was asked.
As far as I
even
can tell-
if I get asked in a private message or a private email, my answer at this point, especially this close to LVO, is you need to send the email through the correct channels.
Yes.
Yeah, because I don't
Right.
think they're doing, because last year we did the Facebook
Yeah,
Q&A.
which
more or less.
I don't think we're doing that because
It's already-
one, it's not really necessary,
Right.
and two, we're getting the new Demon Codex. There will be an FAQ that comes along with that, so I'm not going to worry too much about it.
Right.
And anything that you think is like a big legitimate thing that needs to be answered, it'll get answered if you send it to that email.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, John already mentioned the Demon Codex will be in effect for LVO.
Right. Which is Reese already said that on Signals,
He
right?
said that, but
Yeah.
listen, he said they were going to pull painted models, yet we have a player in our group that got his models pulled at SoCal Open. So,
So he did what he said.
Yeah.
no, but the player, well, Danny.
Danny, yeah.
Not me.
not
No,
our
the other Danny Kwan.
Danny Kwan. He wasn't paying attention to the packet. Or
Oh, I see what you're saying. So despite everybody said it, Danny
Yes.
still missed it.
Yes.
Right. Okay, I see
Yeah,
what you're
people
saying.
miss it. It's just the more you repeat, the better. That's just
Yeah.
what it comes down to.
Yes, I think that's pretty funny too, Ray. Brimstones are a 6++.
Yes, that's
Yes.
so needed. There is no reason a 3-point or at one point a 2-point model should have
Right.
a 4++.
I thought it was perfectly fine.
Of course you did. Chaos player.
Yeah. Okay, well, my Termagants have a 4++. Right. Then
Right.
then it's fine. Right. Until then,
Right.
get wrecked, nerd.
But I think also
threes.
not even the FAQs. I think just the fact that the rules are so much simpler.
Yes.
I mean, I think the game has legitimate issues in terms of like how it works, but I don't think it's the rules that are the actual rules mechanics aren't the issue.
I
Right.
think it's the well, we've talked about it before. It's more
Yeah.
the playing area.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
is
Well, that's
one part
Yeah.
of it.
Yeah.
At least for me, that's probably the biggest part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like Darian played a game, and the opponent set up the field, and there's like no line of sight blockers, or very little,
Right.
or no center line of sight.
Was this my game with Darian?
No,
Okay, because I lost that game, so we shouldn't bitch about it.
no. but because the store we play at doesn't have a lot of large line of sight blocking terrain. The first turn issue that we've seen is
But then, like, half the stuff in the Imperial Guard Codex ignores line of sight, so what does it matter?
that's Imperial Guard, though. He wasn't playing against.
I understand. But what I'm saying is that I think the issue isn't the terrain. The issue is how the rules, in terms of, like, shooting, work.
I think it's I'll say, the truth is somewhere in the middle. That I think terrain does matter, right? I think
Right.
that for a lot of armies, terrain really matters, and that GW did not do a great job really communicating when 8th edition dropped. You need to redo how you think about tables, right?
Right.
They needed to give good concrete examples of this is what a really good looking table that is fair and balanced and allows the game to work the way intended should be. But I also think that they still overvalue melee and what it can do. Melee can be absolutely
They do, for sure,
devastating,
yes.
right? And I think of that too much of like, well, it's just you could at one point have a melee that decides the game and cripple someone very easily, but
Yeah.
that's not very likely.
No.
While a Gilliman gun line
Right.
or 3 Fire Raptors,
3 Fire Raptors.
right? That is consistently good.
Magnus Morty and 3 Fire Raptors.
Plus for most armies, I say most, with the cheap screens,
Right.
screening units,
Yeah.
you're not gonna get. It's gonna be very difficult.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, most armies
to the
is
meat, to the
important.
Yeah, when I played Darian and he had his cultist set up as the screen, because I was deep striking all those Grey Knights, I had Grandmasters, all that stuff, so I didn't deep strike anything on the first turn,
Yeah.
because that'd be dumb. But I made sure that all my strike squads were around, because strike squads shred that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, yeah, and I like shredded his entire cultist screen of like 30 or whatever cultists in a one round shooting, no problem, easy. Next turn, got to drop in kind of where I wanted to.
Right.
But like, yeah, and there was no amount of terrain that was going to save Darian's screen, but that wasn't the point. It was a cheap screen,
Right.
just to keep me from being able to drop in first turn and annihilate some of his units.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've seen this, that pretty much strong armies are able to bring cheap screen.
Yes.
Right. That's why I think the biggest reason Necrons suck is because
there's
don't
no
have
cheap screen.
Tau suck because they really don't have cheap screens. Kroot are not cheap enough.
Pure Grey Knights don't. If you're playing Grey Knights like I've been doing,
Right. That's
like
why most Grey Knight armies
have an allied guard contingent. Yeah.
Every army have
Yeah.
allied. My army's going to have an allied Imperial Guard.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's just, I mean, you kind of have to the way it is because, yeah, melee is definitely more powerful than it was, I think, in other editions, even without Death Stars.
Right.
Death Stars, even a lot of the times, didn't necessarily kill everything, they just never died.
Right.
Right, so, yeah, they are doing some good damage, but you're just not killing them, so they always win the attrition game.
Yeah.
Right now, it's just things die really quickly. It's just melee has so many more variables. It's so much more swingy that it's just from a competitive perspective, it's always better to have consistency.
Yeah.
Right, and that's what shooting provides you, especially with the amount of reroll to hit or reroll ones, or with like Gilliman reroll everything.
Reroll all things all the time.
Yeah.
So Cuddle Bunny 455, like her name. The power level of Grey Knights now, they're an interesting faction because, like we were saying, they don't have access to a cheap screen of their own. So there has to be an allied lane. But I recently wrote an article for Frontline about strike squads, and Reese and a couple of the other people were talking about how they think strike squads are the best troops unit in the game because of the diversity they have. Psychic, you can deny psychic powers, you can cast psychic powers. The amount of shooting they put out really is ridiculous, especially when you have to use if you get a 10-man squad and then you use the Cybolt ammunition stratagem, like you're shredding stuff, right?
Yeah.
Even other Space Marines, you're going to shred through them.
Stormbolters are the MVP of this edition.
Right.
Of just going from like whatever to like, oh my god, they're so freaking good.
Yeah, Stormbolters, you throw 2 silencers in the squad, and now you've ratcheted up the shooting even further. Like, they're really good, and they have these really good things. Yeah, and they can fight too. You give them falchions.
Yeah.
And they're much better in combat with the falchions. You give them hammerhand as their psychic power, and they're versatile. They can do stuff. But the problem is you can't bring enough to bear, and you also don't have that screen that you need.
Yeah.
And then the other really good stuff in there is super expensive. Grandmaster Dread Knights, Drago.
Right.
You really want to be able to use Terminators and Paladins, but even with the drop in points for Terminators, there's still, you're better off taking a squad and a half of power armor guys.
Yeah. I would say Grey Knights are on alone, right? Alone, they're like, and again, this is going to be a weird analogy, they're like licorice. Most people hate them. It's not a great taste. The yeast is pretty strong, but when used as part of a larger recipe, right, it can add that special something.
Yeah.
Right. So I think Grey Knights, if you want to play them, you can build really good competitive lists, but you can't do it pure Grey Knights, right? Like you have to bring in chaff.
Yeah, Alan's right. Pure Grey Knights are starved for CPs, and that's the reason why you would take strike squads, is because you need the battalion to get the CPs.
The top Grey Knight lists have a contingent of guard with conscripts.
Yeah,
and
there's also been a couple that have done really well with Scions.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Tempestus Scions, because they mesh well. You get the Toroxes, and they can drop in. They mesh with the dropping into the Grey Knights. So there's a couple of them like that, too. But yeah, Alan's right. They need CPs, and they can't get enough CPs on their own because they're too expensive.
Yeah, that's why you get
That's why you take the small guard battalion.
Yeah, you take the battalion for at least 3 more.
Yeah, 3 more CPs.
So that way you're getting 9, which is a respectable CP number. That gives you a lot of movement with your stratagems and things like that. But
yeah, it does.
Only having like 5 or 6 is...
Yeah, I'll be writing a couple more Grey Knight articles for them, Cuddle Bunny, because the last 2, people have liked the last 2, and they keep asking for more, and there's nobody else really writing them.
Yeah, why not?
So I'll write a couple more, but I'm only going to write about stuff that I use, so don't expect me to go through the whole codex.
You're not going to write about the Grey Knight Laminator?
Probably not. I'll write about Drago. I'll write about Librarians. I'll write about Grandmasters. I'll write about Terminators and Paladins.
People will use?
Yeah. Well, no, because I just said Paladins, so I just mentioned something nobody's going to use. But
well, going back to the original thought about the
rule abusers,
rule gymnastics.
Yeah.
Gymnasts.
I mean, there's a very notable gymnast I'm not going to name who's been absent for from like all of 8th. Like I don't see him playing games on ITC rankings.
Okay.
Like he's gone, and he's one of those guys who was like, I mean, at one point he wasn't allowed to play at our store.
Oh,
He's been around.
he was.
He was a major rules
was he at
gymnast.
He was. He was at SoCal Open. And he
Right.
was at Hammer.
Yeah, but he hasn't done anything
But he
since.
hasn't done locals.
Yeah, he hasn't done any locals. He's only done the big ones.
Yeah.
And he's not playing any of the locals since SoCal.
I think part of it is also the speed at which GW is answering FAQs.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now with the new schedule, with FAQ, Codex FAQ after 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
one in March, one in September, and one in December, basically, for chapter approved,
Yeah.
you're looking at least 3, maybe 6 or 7, depending how many codexes they release
Right.
in a
Right.
year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like basically 1-2 a month, or 1 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Almost 1 every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or twice a month.
Yeah, but not only it's the release schedule and the FAQs, and then people always like to be like, the way that it's being done is like, sorry, Alan's answering, and so I lost my train of thought. Does he though? Because I haven't seen it being logged in
I
ITC.
don't play in ITC events.
Oh, okay.
There are events that are not ITC. I know where we are. They're in the minority.
Why would you play in an event that's not ITC?
you
then?
want to club some
There's a
seals?
link.
Club a seal to get a better deal.
Because store credit is still store credit, whether it's ITC or not.
Sure.
It's not like he's ever actually going to win the ITC. So
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, I think that the rate GW puts things out, the fact that we know their intentions, that people in the community actually work alongside them.
yes,
I mean, come on. I mean, we even helped out with the Forge Rules stuff
Right.
at one point. So the fact that there are people in the
listened, but
right, but there are people that are in the community who have helped now, and so there's like no longer this veil that
Right.
everything's done behind.
Right.
yeah,
And because of that, like, you figure out something to abuse, and no sooner have you figured out to abuse it, but there's an FAQ
yeah.
telling you, no, that's not how it works, jackass.
No, I mean, I think,
And it's even like the
or just-
codex, and that's what people always complain about. Oh man, these FAQs come out 2 weeks before an event and screw my list over. And it's like, well, your list only got screwed over because you were playing something that was obviously abusive.
Right.
Right. Well, I mean, and that's, I mean, really, that's the thing is, and it's, I mean, it's not fun when get your army in some way invalidated.
Sure.
But if you build with the old concept in mind of this is really broken, this is 2 points efficient, I build my army around that because it won't get addressed for at least a year,
Right.
if not, if ever.
If ever.
Right, that's gone. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
that's a new way of kind of approaching this game of knowing, like, if I find a true power build, I can't necessarily rely it's going to be there, right? The power
Right.
builds are things that are tactically and strategically sound.
Which is what they want.
Right.
And really, that's what I think as a community we should want.
It's
Like-
what we've always said we've wanted, but
Right.
but again, it's just the reality of this. There are different types of high-level players, right?
Sure.
There's high-level players who are just good at the game because they study it and they know how it works. And then there's people who are relatively good at the game because they find power builds and abuse them.
Sure, right.
Right, and the thing is that those people who rely on abusive power builds don't have that avenue for success anymore, and it's frustrating to them.
Yeah, I can
Right?
see that.
Because it's just now you actually have to build lists with the idea in mind that you're not going to just have a points efficiency.
Right.
I think
It's the ultimate, like, get good.
It's not necessarily, well, it's get good in a different way, right? Because as much as I would say that back in 6th, 7th, 5th, 4th, if you found one of the broken builds and you played it, like, that is part of being good at the game, right?
Yes,
you
it
found
was.
an optimal way of playing the game.
It absolutely was.
Same with, like, I never got mad at people who played Death Stars. It's mathematically the best way to play the game in 7th.
Right.
Like,
Yes.
having 99% damage mitigation
Yes.
is the correct way to play the game.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I get that. It's just
I
now
understood
that's
that
not
too.
the correct way to play the game.
No.
Right. Now it's about re-rolls and it's about chaff and it's about kind of being able to absorb fire and not relying on Alpha Strike.
Yeah.
That's just, and it's a different thing. Right.
That's true.
It's just a different beast. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people.
I can see why
are
people
sure
would be upset that their play style of being a rules abuser is gone.
Right.
Like, that was their shtick. That was their thing. They knew the thing you didn't know.
Right. And they got
That was technically allowed. And then they would do
Correct.
it. Right. Technically correct.
Oh, did I?
It doesn't even, like, which Hive Fleet do you play, Danny? That's what that goes.
Well,
No.
He's gonna open the tome
yeah,
of wisdom.
exactly.
Yeah.
No,
I'm gonna take a
right
break
now
for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes. Jesus. I mean, I guess I could be quick. The short answer is yeah, exactly. 3 minutes. That's all I'm giving you. That's all I need. If I can get there, you can.
The way Adam drank just now out of the bottle, by the way, looked like how Donald Trump drinks water because he was doing it like slightly off screen. So he's like doing the Trump.
Okay, I only used one hand. I didn't use two hands. Like
Anyway,
I did get a smaller bottle.
You did.
On purpose.
Right.
I always run with Chronos because you need that anti-psyker tech. Just absolutely. And then I really actually like Leviathan for kind of the added durability, especially for my screen units, because it becomes a little harder.
Which one's Leviathan's?
+6 feel no pain if they're within 6 inches of sight.
That's right. Okay.
So again, on 60 gaunts, that starts equaling money.
Yes.
And then I alternate. If I want melee, I usually run Behemoth for the reroll charges. If I want movement, deployment shenanigans, then I...
Were you ever able to
Warhammer.
build the list with 3 separate battalions from the 3 separate high fleets?
Oh yeah, that's easy. I
That
can
was
easily
easy to
run
do?
three
Nice.
distinct battalions, and I play around with that. The problem is that there's just... It's relying on troops a lot, and
Right.
the troops,
And are you spreading around your CPs too thin then at that point? Because like,
No, because really there's only a few stratagems I use, right? It's acid blood, so when my screen gets hit in melee, I'm doing damage. It's if I run Behemoth, which I love running with Hormagaunts, then I use their stratagem where on for every model that makes it within 1 inch, on a
Right.
6-up, I do a wound to them, a mortal wound, and then shoot twice.
okay.
Right.
Right.
That's and the Chronos of turn off of Psyker first.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Well, that's the whole reason you take Chronos.
Yeah, or no, the Chronos are great for shooting because Hive Guard and Chronos, who just get to hide out of LOS and shooting an amazing gun at 36 inches, ignore LOS, ignore cover, 3-up to hit, reroll 1s, becomes freaking money.
That is pretty good, yeah.
Right, like that shoots Magnus out of the sky, especially because they can shoot twice.
Which he deserves.
yeah.
What a jerk.
So they're the only ones the only one I really haven't found great success with in any real way is Gorgon, just because it's really reliant on getting mileage out of models that are probably subpar, and I love them, but like Dimacarans. Dimacarans love Gorgon, and the reroll 1s to hit is nice. And Hydra, honestly, is not that great because Gene Stealers are the best choice for that, because they can go up to 20, so they're going to outnumber most units. But they're so much better in Kraken or Jormungandr or even Leviathan for extra durability.
Sure.
And Hormagaunts are better as Leviathan for their durability, or even Jormungandr for the 5+ save. And Termagants with Devourers, they don't want to be in combat. They just want to drop down and shoot. Right.
Nice.
So yeah, that's the short answer.
That's the short.
It's
answer.
on 1 spell only, Danny.
Well, still, 1 spell's enough. Right.
There are certain key ones you want to turn off.
Right.
Yeah,
Warp
turn off warp
the
time.
Stupid Jeff's.
Now that's-
Jeff's whatever word of the whatever that lets.
Yeah.
Soul Burst. Yeah.
Well, now that Smite degrades in your ability to cast it,
Yeah.
like they get the first one off, turn it off,
They make it a lot harder, although.
right?
Yeah, I mean, you give them the first one,
Yeah,
the
'cause
second one.
whether
you're
it's
on down one dice.
whether it's passed or not, I think it still gets harder.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's
yes,
every
yes,
attempt.
it's every
It's not
attempt.
every
Right.
successful.
So their first one, they do it, you turn it off, whatever.
Right now they're at a +2 for
Right,
like the next,
for the next one.
attempt. Yeah, you can do that. Although it depends because it depends on what you're facing, right? If you're going against Chaos, like you actually have to save it for warp time.
Well, yeah, you're going
Right.
to want to use it on warp time for sure. If you're playing Jeff, you're going to want to use it for his
Soul Burst.
Or Soul Burst.
Or Doom,
When he
right?
tries
Like,
to Soul versus Dark Reapers.
yeah, or Doom. Doom sucks, man. But yeah, so up there, the brief aside about Tyranids.
TFG Tyranid Radio.
Yep.
There we go.
There is, and I apologize for anyone who reads my frontline articles. I just have not had time to keep pumping them out. I'm sorry.
Hey, man.
I'm trying.
It's not like there was like a giant holiday that
Yeah.
eats up everybody's family time. Or eats up everybody's time with family time.
Yeah, I almost.
That's more accurate.
I almost faked having to go into the office just so I could get like 3 or 4 articles. Right. Be like, oh, I got called into a meeting. I'm sorry. I'll be back by like 4. Right. And just pump out like enough articles to last me for a while.
Right. I don't know if that would have worked for me. I would have like gone in and like took a nap.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm so productive in my office because my office mate's never there. And
Nice.
I can lock my door and I can just
Do your work.
do my work.
I'm not at work, so I don't have that luxury anymore.
No.
Yeah.
No. All right. So one of the things that we, as the judges for the LVO, are going to cover over the couple of weeks before LVO is reminding people how conceding and tabling works.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about today,
Right.
and then at some point we're going to put a video together, a YouTube video, also explaining it, and then at some point there will also be an article for Frontline that's going to have video links to these things and explaining it also. So I'm going to put it up on the screen. It's an actual screenshot of the rules from the ITC Champion Missions. And game length tabling and concession scoring is different than normal. There's a giant thing down at the bottom in red, which we're going to read first because it's important. Players should take careful note that tabling your opponent does not automatically score maximum points for the mission. Concession also does not automatically award max points to the victor. The whole point of these missions in the design was to make it difficult for somebody to get max points.
Right.
You wanted to stratify out the field, make it so that you have a true best of winner at the end,
Right.
whether there's multiple undefeateds or not. So the idea is you could still win small,
Right.
and then once you've won small, you're going to then go ahead and if somebody can't hear. I wonder who they can't hear.
Well, I'm not talking, so.
Okay, I can
That's
fix
fine.
that. Give me 1 second. I think it's... You guys are the ones that can hear. You guys talk for a second.
Okay, well,
Okay.
So if you're looking at this, the key point to remember is if you think you scored max points because your opponent conceded or you tabled them, you're wrong. Right. It's just very important to make that distinction that getting max points pretty much requires that the game went all 6 turns and your opponent was still alive during all 6 of those turns.
Yeah.
And you were getting every possible bonus point, etc., etc., etc.
So you have to actually play the game
Yeah,
to get
right.
max points.
Right.
Yeah, and it's not impossible. It's just very difficult, and you're not going to be able to do it against every army. Like it's going to be really hard to do that against, like, say, 4 knights. Right. It's just
Yes.
you might kill them too quickly to be able to necessarily get everything you need to get.
So far in all the tournaments I've been a part of, I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
Yeah, I've seen close. Right.
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah,
like
like
really high scores.
Really high scores.
Getting the bonus point for on every turn is really, really hard.
Right. So let's go ahead and walk through this, and we'll walk everybody through it as we go. So I'll read sections and we'll talk about them. So each game lasts 6 battle rounds. So there's not...
No random game length.
There we go. No random game length.
Back to 6 turns.
So that's
God intended.
a big thing that needs to be noted, and you should make sure as you're heading out to the LVO in a couple of weeks that you remember you're not rolling for random game length. The game lasts 6 turns, 6 battle rounds, sorry. At the game's conclusion, the player with the higher total score is the winner. If one player chooses to concede before the game has come to a natural conclusion, they automatically score 0 points, and their opponent is marked as the victor. At the time of concession, the victor keeps their current score and earns 4 points per remaining battle round towards the primary mission, assuming their army has enough forces to accomplish mission objectives. So this is a big one that I actually messed up. In a game where I conceded, I didn't mark myself as 0 points.
Yeah.
We were just like, okay, so the game ends.
Yeah.
I'm conceding, the game's over. I only had 9 points.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. So, we marked on my sheet I had 9 points.
Right.
And then we worked out, did the rest correctly. We did the 4 points.
Right.
So the 4 points are per battle round towards the primary.
So if, let's say, I'm playing Danny and I just, know what I could see on turn 3,
Right.
or battle round 3,
Right.
then let's say Danny has 16 points for whatever reason. So turns 4, 5, and 6, he only gets 4 points straight for the primary.
For the primaries, right.
So that'll give him another 12.
Right. So now we'll move on to the secondaries. Additionally, and also you have to assume their army has enough forces to accomplish the objectives.
Okay,
So if you've lost too many troops choices and you can't...
So let's say there was one with 4 objectives and he only has 2 guys.
2 guys, right.
So then he can only score
The 2 objectives.
2 points. Or
However that works for that mission. Right.
My only question would be kill a unit.
That one, I think the ones that require you to kill your
Would it just be
opponent,
automatic?
you get,
Yeah.
right, because
Okay,
your
so
opponent's gone.
Gone, yes.
It's the mission, it's the qualifiers that require your action.
Your actions.
unit,
I guess it depends
right,
on the
as opposed
mission
to
itself.
doing
Because
something
if
to
it's just
the
holding objectives, you can get that because you hold one and then you hold more than your opponent.
Right. Yeah,
Okay.
I think that language is
There
just
are
in case
situations where it'll come up. So just make sure when you're going through a concession, especially if you're the player that's conceding,
Right.
you don't just give your opponent max points. That's not the way it works.
Right.
Right? You don't just get to go, okay, I'm going to concede, I'll take a 0, you get whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Because it's a lot of
42,
points,
right?
like 40 something points
Yes.
for max points.
Yeah, and if people are coming to us with high
With max
perfect scores, it's gonna ring a. It's gonna set off an alarm,
I'm instantly
right?
asking for a battle report. What
Right.
happened?
Yeah.
Right.
How did this happen? Did you concede? Yes. Okay. So then no.
Yeah.
Right. Automatically, that's going to be the way it works.
Well, you concede in at what turn?
Right.
That's true too. Because
if you can see in turn 6, it's not really that big of a deal. And there's also, I think it's important to talk about if there is or is not a distinction between conceding and then mapping out the inevitable conclusion of a game. Right. Of, Adam and I do all the time together, right? Of like, it's turn 4 and it's like, okay, turn 5, this is going to happen.
Right.
Turn 6, this is going to happen.
Right.
Right? Do we disagree and that's the way this is going to go? No? Okay, let's score
so we're good.
that way. Right? So that's not necessarily conceding.
I've done
That's
that, yeah.
Yes.
Right, that's actually looking at the game state and making an education.
Especially when it's time. It's time.
Yeah, right. When it's like we have 5 minutes left. Right.
Yeah. Exactly. So going on to the second part. Additionally, the victor also earns the maximum number of possible secondary mission points left to them, also assuming the victor's army has the capability to accomplish the mission objective. So if you chose something like...
so an example would be the Titan Slayer.
Sure.
Because Nighttime will only give you 3 points.
3 points, so you don't get the additionals.
Yeah.
But also another one would be if it's holding objectives, but there's not an objective that you can have in the opponent's zone and your zone and score for being in your opponent's zone, then you won't be able to do it. Like, you have to be able to do so. If you're lining up what you can do in the primaries, that also adheres to the secondaries. So like, you have to be able to follow along what you're doing in the primaries and the secondaries. So you have to keep track. Now, you said you're going to hold those 2 objectives.
Yeah.
Because you said you're holding those 2 objectives and you can't hold these other 3, you don't get that other secondary.
Right. Or like recon, where you're playing Nurgle, you only move 5 inches a turn. You're not going to make it to that corner until...
Right. That's the other thing you have to do is you have to map it out. Like, okay, this guy's movement's only 5. These Terminators only move 5 inches. These Nurglings only move 5 inches.
Your advance and see if you can make it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's not as simple as just, okay, I concede, here you go.
Right.
It's a little more work, but
it's good for the integrity of the events.
Right.
Right.
Okay. Which is, I think, the big note about why this is more complicated than just, cool, I concede, I get a 0, you get a perfect, moving on, is it actually creates a real spread of scores to show how people are actually doing. Right. It's one thing, it's not that hard to get a concede out of somebody. It's like, first turn I blew up, your knight or your shadow sword. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right. That's different than for 5 turns I just masterfully worked you. Right?
Yes.
And it's important because it sucks, especially now that we're at 500 plus players, that it's not just the top 8 are the only 8 people who have perfect scores. And if we had 500 in the old scoring system, we'd actually have people who had perfect scores or damn near perfect scores who didn't go to top 8. And that's kind of infuriating.
Yes.
Right. So here we see like a real spread of like, man, you're consistently scoring in the high 30s on your opponents.
Right.
You deserve to go to the top 8, right?
Sure.
Are you consistently just getting in the 20s? Maybe you don't when the field is that big.
Yeah, that's true. So moving on to tabling. Jeff, some people had a problem hearing, but now they can. I don't know.
You're just old, Jeff.
Yeah. Because Tom said we fixed it. I'm gonna trust Tom. I don't know why.
Why would you do that?
I don't know
why
why.
would you trust
I'm gonna trust Tom, but I don't know
Listen, I trust Tom in PUBG and it gets me killed. That's all I'm going to say.
why. It's true.
I do the valorous thing and just stay out of PUBG.
That's not valorous. That's boring.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to the tabling thing. If one player is tabled, a player has no qualifying models on the table at the end of any player turn. So that's the boots on the ground thing.
Right.
Okay. The table player keeps their points earned. This is where I made my mistake.
Yeah.
Up until that point in the game,
Right.
and their opponent earns points in the same fashion as outlined above. If a player draws a bye due to an uneven number of players, this should go to the player with the lowest total score, and that player receives a win and a score of 20 points. That's also something that's different.
That's new.
That's new.
That wasn't in the
That was
original.
not in there originally.
Yeah.
That was what was like. That's, I think that's the best way to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's
Yeah.
it's a medium win, right? It's not a it's not a really low win because you can win by like
You can win with,
11,
like,
12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, like,
You
I mean, you can technically you could win with like 4 points if you get
could.
your opponent from
To 0. Right.
although I don't know how you ever score 4 points in the game, but
Sure.
it can happen.
It is
But it's
theoretically
not-
possible.
yeah, it is not, and it's also not a dominating win, so that person doesn't immediately have an advantage, right?
Right.
Especially in a larger field like a GT, where your scores really do matter to getting to kind of the top tables.
Right.
Right, so it's not like, oh man, sweet, I want the bye, so I have a 42 going into everything. So now if I'm winning with by still and only like, high teens, low 20s, that I'm still at the top, even though these other guys are consistently scoring in the
Yeah, but do you
Right.
want to be at the top? That's the other question.
Well, no, you always want submarine,
Yeah,
right?
so
And this actually helps you. You get a
yeah,
win,
20
you
's perfect.
submarine your way.
I'm going to go for a bye at every tournament I go to. I'll take the bye.
First round, take the bye, get the small win.
Yeah. It'll be my only win.
That used to be the strategy.
Yeah.
Submarining in there.
Yeah.
And then when we went to like Pure Swiss, where it was undefeated,
So you had to win.
you had to win,
But you couldn't win big.
but you couldn't win big, right?
That was hard to do.
That was hard to do. Well, especially, but this system is not. That's not hard to do.
No.
So the important thing when you're going to events using these missions to remember, conceding and tabling are not the same thing.
Yes.
If you concede, you get 0 points.
If you're tabled,
If you're
you keep
tabled,
what you earned.
you keep what you've earned.
It is theoretically possible for you to be tabled, especially turn 5 or turn
Yes.
6, and win.
Yes.
Right.
That could happen. Please note
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Tabling is not an automatic win.
No, tabling is not an automatic win condition. You cannot play to table like you could in previous editions. I mean, that was the strategy in 4th and 5th.
Oh yeah.
You played to table your opponent. But that's not necessarily going to win you
Right.
in the games in these missions in this format.
Right.
And I really like this format a lot. I think it's great. I love the missions. I think the missions are good. They're better. They're designed with 8th in mind.
Right.
I think this whole system is designed with 8th and competitive format and match play in mind.
No,
So,
I,
but-
I agree.
It's markedly different, so be aware of it
Yeah.
going to the LVO.
I just wish it was, GW had thought about this before.
Yes.
Right, because, again, we've said it a million times before, but the Age of Sigmar missions, match play missions, are
Yes.
so much better
Yes.
and much more interesting than the 40K ones.
Just think maybe next year and chapter approved, this is going to be in there.
The chapter
Just cut and paste it.
has a couple missions that are similar to Age of Sigmar,
They
but
do.
they still include, I think, Maelstrom stuff or
Yeah.
some weird thing.
Well, that's GW. They really want that dog to hunt, and it just won't. Right? Like they're just.
You're the only one. You're the only one in California I know that uses that.
The
that
dog to
term.
hunt?
Yeah,
I am from Texas. So.
that's probably
Sure.
why.
Yeah, that's probably why,
Might be
yeah.
it. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. Read it. Obviously, if you have a question, ask the judge, TO, right?
Yes.
At LVO, will I just know, at least for me, if I see a score that is over
Perfect.
40 points, I'm going to ask how it happened, right?
Right.
Just because that might even be, oh well, I tabled him on turn 3, or he conceded on turn 2. I'm still going to ask, well, that's still hard to get 40 points, right?
Right.
Because that means you got bonus points in the first 2 rounds you played, which may, depending on the missions, like how'd you pull that off?
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it'll definitely be like a red flag.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
I think
prefer-
round 1, 2, 3, it'll be more common that people will make the mistake.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean,
By day 2, I think that it'll kind of And also, you guys, when we're there, you'll be reminded of this over the loudspeakers. So pay attention to the loudspeaker
No one
announcements.
ever listens.
No one listens.
I got on that loudspeaker so much last year, and people still be like, "Oh, what time?" And I'm like, "You mother."
I just told
also
you.
remember, we're there. I love LVO. It's a highlight, of the winter for me, if not like pretty much the year. Right? It's always a great time. But when I'm in judge mode, I get salty real quick.
Right.
If you're acting like a tool, or really
Yes.
if you're acting like one of my students, then I'm going to be real salty real quick. Like, oh, I didn't read that, and I'm going to be like, that's not my fucking problem.
Right. I was explaining today to somebody in a group, a 40K group, about this. Somebody was saying, they asked me something, and I was like, well, because stupid things piss me off.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
I never would have guessed.
Never would have guessed. And so they go, well, how are you a judge? And I was like, it makes me a great judge because I walk up to the table already upset at both of you.
Because they disturbed your...
Right. So I just walk into the room understanding that you're all going to make me mad because you're all going to ask dumb questions, and it's just like teaching at school.
Yep.
And I said literally, I was like, no, all my students understand that I don't have favorites. I dislike everybody in the room equally, and so everything's fine.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, as a judge, you can't walk up to a table and be like, oh, I really like you guys, or I really like this guy because I know you. That's not good either.
I know, I do that to mess with people though. Right. You come up to you and be like, oh, what's up, man? Like, oh, this is my boy. So what was the problem? Just to see what the other guy
I mean, I joke around with people and walk around and like.
Oh yeah.
Last year, all these guys were yelling at me if pink horrors can summon because we had that conversation multiple times, and like, so it's funny. But like, if I get called up to a table for a real question, I'm going to be serious about it.
Oh yeah. I mean,
and don't be a jerk to me because I'm not going to.
That's the
be very
thing.
nice about it back.
We want to talk about things outside of the game state that can help or hurt you in a tournament experience. Like number one, at least for me, is if you're not acting like a grown-up,
yes,
you are automatically making it so I have to fight my inherent bias to not punish you for that.
Right.
Like, that's just, and it's just us. I don't know how many times I came up to tables of two grown men bickering.
Yes.
Right, and then expecting me to be like mom and sort it out when it's like, right now, I just want to disqualify both of you.
Right.
Right, like I really just want to say you both get a thumbs down, you both get a 0 on this game because neither of you is acting like an adult.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Like I get that the games can be contentious.
Sure, and your opponent can piss you off and you can be in the middle, and
Right.
I get that, but it's just one of those things of, I understand if it's the top table, if it's for the whole shebang, because there's real legitimate money on that table.
I suppose.
Right.
But then I've never seen the top table
They know.
be a problem.
Right. Well, plus it's on
On stream. Yeah.
Oh,
Just go put everybody on camera at some
the
point.
eyes of the internet keep many people honest. But yeah, I mean, with this and the whole conceding, tabling thing, I think it's important for people to not use those terms interchangeably, right? If you got tabled, that's different. That means you still scored points, right?
Yes.
You played the game to its natural conclusion, because tabling is a natural conclusion.
Yes, it is.
Right.
Absolutely.
Conceding is not. Conceding is a player giving up.
But it happens. I concede matches all the time.
Now you get a 0.
That's fine. I'll get a 0, whatever.
And that's,
It's okay.
I want to keep my points.
that's why I play armies with like 4 models in them, because then it's easy to get tabled and be like, I get my points.
So I'm going to play Death Watch.
That's why I'll continue to play Grey Knights. Because I can get tabled pretty easy.
See? There you
Pure
go.
Grey Knights. I'm not going to add anything good.
Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
It's not exceedingly easy to table most of my armies just because I'm like, oh yeah, well I've got all these, I love my monsters. I got this. I have 90 guns.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. You're not getting tabled anytime soon.
yeah. Oh no, Jeff.
The other thing is snapping to get my attention.
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm not a good waiter.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I get so part of that though sometimes helps just because after day 1 I'm so shell shocked by how many times I hear Judge.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, and then having
There
to
is
go
that.
over there.
I guess that's true.
There's other tournaments going on, and they'll yell Judge.
Oh, that's an interesting question.
That's true.
Little buddy.
Do armies with Primaris and normal-sized Marines together look weird? No.
Not really.
They're designed to look I mean, they're designed to look different on purpose because they're different things. So if you're trying to play your Primaris and normal sized Marines together and saying they're all one thing, one, don't, and two, that's going to be weird.
Yeah,
but if you play a contingent of Primaris Ultramarines with your Guilliman gun line, it'll look fine.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I can see how just the size discrepancy, right? But they're still distinct units. It's not. They're not mixing together. It's not like you have 3 Primaris and 4 normal guys in one squad. Right. There's still some distinction. I think it can add.
And the Primaris Marines don't look. Those units don't look like the other units.
Right.
Like
that's the thing. They're all
Primaris Hellblasters are distinct.
Yes.
Intercessors are distinct. Right. Like, and a tactical squad's a tactical squad. It's got all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
So
I think I think
it's fine. I think
if you exaggerate their difference, that would be better, right? So if you're painting and you're like, well, I want my army to be a mix, right? To not be, okay, here's my Primaris detachment, here's my normal detachment, but no, this is a reinforced company, right, that's got a mix of each. If you exaggerate, I think the paint jobs on one or the other, be like, well, I have to make the Primaris look a little bit different, that's going to be more jarring, right? If they're still uniform, because the models themselves are so distinct from each other, with the uniform paint job, they blend. It looks
like if you're doing a reinforced Ultramarine company or a Salamander company, and you take extra time to add like extra gold elements or gold helmets to the other things, it's going to look too different.
Right.
But if you paint it the same scheme as the rest of the company, it'll be fine.
Oh yeah, because and again, as John said, those models are so different from each other.
Yeah.
You never have the issue of like, well, what's that guy? What's that guy?
Right.
Never.
But with the paint scheme being uniform, it's all blended together, right?
Like I remember watching Darian play when he was using his Primaris Dark Angels, but they're all gray still because he hadn't had time to. He was just playing, right? And he had his Primaris Hellblasters,
right?
And he had his Primaris repulsor tanks.
Oh, yeah.
But then he had an Azrael.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And it didn't look weird.
Right.
But I clearly knew that's Azrael.
Right. The midget's Azrael.
These are the Primaris. Those are the Primaris tanks. Those speeders are not Primaris.
Right.
Like
random tangent.
Sure.
Because they, it is in the fluff that you can be upgraded.
Yes.
Right? When are we going to see a named character get upgraded to Primaris?
I was thinking that the other day too. When there's a named character that needs a new model.
Yes.
Although Azrael needs a new model. They could have done it with Azrael.
They would have done
Dante.
They would have done it already.
Yeah, probably.
Although you don't know. I mean, part of it is I don't think we're going to see a lot of.
It's going to be like
unless it's a new faction.
It's going to be.
It's going to be like It's going to be like an Imperial Fist. Like, it's going to be like.
Pedro.
Yeah, like Pedro Cantor.
Compensating for something.
Oh god.
No, I mean I think it's.
And he'll be the only Primaris Marine with a Power Fist because it's Pedro Cantor.
Yeah. Well, I honestly, part of what I think is we're not seeing a lot of new models except for what are essentially new factions, like Death Guard and things like that. Is because GW is just focusing on getting modeled or getting codexes out, getting the game complete because it's not complete yet, and we'll see more like Shield of Ball type things.
You may not see it until the next round of codex adjustments.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. On the note of looking weird, the new Nurgle beasts are terrible.
A lot of
the beasts of Nurgle are bad.
There's a whole thing on Twitter I saw of like a hashtag.
People talk about Twitter on 40K.
Yeah.
Really?
You just got to follow the right people, man. Hashtag warmongers.
I don't use Twitter.
Yeah, hashtag warmongers.
Okay.
But there's a whole like just group of people who are like, get your tentacles out of my Nurgle, right? They're like, that's the Slanesh thing, but now like Nurgle's got.
I don't even think they're tentacles. Like it's just these weird tubers. Like
tubers.
Why do you have these weird tubers on the heads of these? Like they could have taken a page out of one of the third-party marketers with those giant worms. Those are great pieces of Nurgle.
No, but I mean,
I'd take a rolling pile of shit over like what those things look like. Come on.
I think I'm not a big fan of the direction, at least paint-wise, the way Nurgle looks.
Yeah.
Because it looks too clean.
Well, I always did my Nurgle's flesh, remember?
Yeah.
Like all my Nurgle demons were always sprayed flesh, and then everything was like fleshy.
As grim dark as
they're
Nurgle.
doing brighter. That's why like
brighter. Yeah.
They are doing brighter colors.
The paint schemes are much brighter. It's like when they first showed off Mortarion, right? We're all like, that just looks a little too bright and a little too clean for Mortarion, right? Like he's got to be a little grungy.
But I don't know if that's us because we're I'm not going to say old.
Veterans. We're veterans.
I've been playing this game since 2nd edition, so I'm fully comfortable being like I'm old.
I'm not.
Right.
I take the Jack Benny approach, and I'm always going to be 39.
I played 30. Hey, am I actually the youngest person here for once?
Yes.
Nice.
Tommy's not here.
Nice. Tom can't ever be on the show again.
Yeah.
Never.
The wee baby Tommy.
But, yeah, the Beast of Nurgle doesn't really do anything for me.
Neutral.
I kind of like the Heralds.
The Herald.
The heralds are fine.
The named Heralds.
They're fine.
I like the different, I guess, I always like the Nurglings and Snotlings.
Yeah.
They've
Sure.
always given them character.
Yeah, the Nurglings were great. I don't know. I really like, the last Nurgle character. I really like that. What maybe is a little too goofy, but I thought they pulled it off well. Was the character from the AOS box set of Nurgle versus Stormcast? He was like the
I don't think I've seen
riding
it.
the giant, riding the giant worm.
Yeah.
Oh, I have seen that.
He's
Yeah.
transferring over to 40K.
Yeah, like that. I
cool.
think that model looks cool, right? Like I think it's a nice balance.
Well, and
of
they
that
have the
kind of
characters-
goofy Nurgle, because Nurgle was always a little goofy because he's your Papa
Yeah,
Nurgle,
that's
right?
true.
Like he's just jovial and happy, and that was always kind of expressed in the models, with the exception of the old metal plague bears who just look like they
Those were.
just look like monsters, right?
Yes. The
Which was good.
Is it the heralds that are riding on top of the flies? The what are those called? The plague drones.
Bro.
No.
There's something hiding on top of the plague drones. What?
There's a
Plague drones.
Yeah.
There's
I've always liked plague drones. I just don't like putting them together
Oh no, those models are terrible.
or playing them because the little feet and everything always gets stuck on everything else.
there's a Nurgling riding a tiny plague drone.
There's been
But there's a new
nerdling
like plague drone model.
because there's been plague bearers that have ridden them before.
Yeah, those are the
That's the
those are
plague
plague
drones.
Right, but there's wasn't there a character? There was a character, right? I thought I saw that.
No, there's a character Epidemius who rides a wave of Nurglings.
Yes, no. But I thought I saw a character like a humanoid character on top of one. Maybe there's somebody's kit bash I'm thinking of.
Maybe. I haven't noticed. I noticed there's a plague drone, and then on the base is a Nurgling on a tiny
Fly,
fly.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Mortarion has a couple of Nurglings flowing around, which is
Yes.
kind of funny. I took them off on mine. And one of these days I'll paint those conversions.
I do kind of like the new demon stuff coming out. Like I was saying earlier, like just for shits and giggles, I would love to take just like a corn one, all corn.
Yeah.
Get all the Loki. So I take like 2 Bloodthirsters and then as many Heralds and like Bloodletters as I can and just ruin a couple of people's days because like there's some people who come up and just be like, huh, okay then.
Well, like I said, I have all those Slaanesh demons that I don't know what to do with. So
I have some of my conversions.
Flies with Blight Knights. Yes, that's right.
Flies with
Blight.
Blight.
Oh,
The Blight.
okay.
Yeah. See, I did see it. I'm not crazy. Ish.
that second
Not too
comment
crazy.
remains to be seen.
Sure. And this particular topic, I wasn't crazy.
Yeah, I could maybe start running the army if I still have to paint my my Magnus and Mortarion conversions to Khorne.
Oh,
But then
okay.
I could pass them off as Bloodthirsters, right?
Yeah, once they're painted, because the conversions look good.
I'm sure Tommy's glad he donated his Nurgle army last year.
Yeah, I'm sure. Oh man, I don't know why we brought that up live on.
Because
Twitch.
Tom on our chat, Tom was like, I want to build a Nurgle army.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a problem. The one thing
Can we not?
The one thing I'm looking forward to, which probably will never happen, is I have a whole like Talons of the Emperor / like Imperial Agents army just sitting in foam. I'm like, one of these days,
Yes.
right? One of these days that'll come out, and I'll.
Hopefully.
It'll come out the day,
That'd be nice.
like the day after you give it away or sell it. Or
No, no. If anyone wants some Troll Bloods from War Machine,
You still trying to get rid of those?
Well, it's because War Machine's a dead
It's
game.
dead around here.
Yeah, I mean, I know
it's a
couple
dead game,
people play,
period.
and I asked them, right? I asked the people I know who still play, like, hey, do you know anyone who wants this? And it's always just like, no.
I think it's still big in the Midwest.
Well, I gotta,
That's just because
I'm not
they don't.
driving
It
the
takes them
Midwest.
like a year and a half to catch up to everybody else.
Yeah, and it's like I don't have the time to convert them to orcs.
Or drive to Iowa.
Yeah.
Go to a tournament, sell them there.
A part of me is like, I might bring them to LVO just because I know there'll be War Machine players.
Yeah, just
there.
walk around the War Machine thing with them on a tray.
And just,
With a little placard with how much money you want for it.
At this point, I'll be like, just give me
Do
money.
the Brandon walking around with your painted army.
Oh, hey, guys.
And instead of reminding everybody to vote for their favorite painted army, you walk around being like, hey guys, you guys like these Trollbloods? There's a sign on the back, you press a button, it can pop up. This is how much? $12.
Not that little, but I definitely would not. I definitely have lowered my expectations of my return.
Right, yeah. I would imagine.
Oh my god. So, and it's new year, new attitude.
No. What new attitude?
I don't know.
What's wrong with my attitude?
New can.
Why would I need to change? Why would I need to change my attitude?
Right.
Right.
There we go.
Everybody loves me, right? Why would I need to change anything? I don't have anybody who dislikes me on the internet or anywhere else.
I'll name most of those groups
Not even the fastest animal moving on its own power on Earth.
Any I guess I don't want to say. I don't want to.
Wait, we did the resolution thing last year.
Yeah, no, mine came through.
I got almost all of mine.
I got the one.
I painted all of my Tyranids.
So we just said, I hate that guy. Who's that guy? I'm not even on the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're that guy.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Yeah, but I painted all my Tyranid models this year.
I thought I was going to build like a Gene Stealer. This was in 7th, so I thought I was going to build a Gene Stealer couple army.
Right. Mine was to finish my Death Guard army, which I did.
And then sell it like what you do.
What's what I always do. I mean, this isn't a surprise. This is what I've done since forever.
Yeah.
I build the armies, play them a little bit, and sell them.
I have every Tyranid model now, that, almost including Forge World. The only Forge World model I don't have is a Harridan.
Right.
And the only thing I didn't do was I didn't get into the top 10 of Tyranid ITC because I just haven't had time to play in any tournaments.
Like 2 games, I think.
Yeah.
I've only played like
Well, I said I wanted to run.
and one of them was with Corns.
I said I wanted to run 3 successful leagues, right? And I only ran the 2
Okay.
because 8th edition came out.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, we're gonna do this campaign," and so I stopped, and then I didn't care anymore. So
We
whatever.
should get a league again going.
We could do a league again. We could do that. And then my
Well, let's wait till after.
third one was I wanted to get back into the top 10% in ITC because the first year they did ITC, I was in the top. I think I was in the top like 10, 8%. I don't know. Reese did the math at one point. He looked at it. We were talking about it. He's like, oh, he looked at the thing. He's like, oh, you're in the top whatever percent. And I got nowhere close because, I only played in like
2 games.
4 tournaments.
Yeah,
Four,
that's
I think I
double
played in
what
4.
played. Yeah, I think I have like 2.
I mean, one was Bay Area Open, but I didn't
have,
do well
only
there.
one entry with the Tyranids.
Well, if you can find my article on our website, then you can see what I wrote. I wrote way too much.
Yes, I remember. You
So
were way
anything
too
you-
ambitious.
Oh, I always am. Just like this year.
So so you each owe me an army. Okay, because I won clearly.
There was no
that
money
the agreement.
involved.
Yes, yes, it was.
No, it was not.
Anyway.
I don't remember.
I was the one who remembered.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at the edits made on that
I
article.
remember that.
But so for this year, yeah. What excites us about 2018? Right. Let's screw resolutions. What excites us?
Oh, good,
about
because
2018?
I'm already committed to having 4 armies that aren't chaos by the end of the year.
Okay.
I already have 2
4
plans.
armies that aren't chaos.
Yeah, I already have. I'm doing Death Watch for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's the worst army.
You should have told me. I think I just got rid of a bunch of my Death Watch.
Son of a bitch.
I'll look and see.
That's why you shouldn't keep secrets from us.
Yeah.
Spouses, yes.
Your gaming group,
no.
Your gaming group,
no.
The core of your, media empire.
Or of your being,
Yeah.
more importantly.
Yeah.
Death Watch for sure, and then Imperial Guard. But I'm
Okay.
kind of cheating because the list I have for Death Watch includes Imperial Guard.
That's not cheating. It's fine.
That's called Imperial Soup,
It
right?
includes the Shadow Sword.
I'm hoping so bad that the soup goes away.
Well, mine's not soup though. It's
It's a separate battalion.
it's 2
separate
detachments.
battalion.
Yeah.
Or
Sounds a
separate
lot like soup.
Nope.
It's more of a stew, right?
Putting some meat in a soup doesn't make it stew.
casserole.
It's a casserole.
It's a
casserole.
watery casserole.
We put a top on top of it.
Yeah.
It's like a chicken pot pie.
So I don't know what other 2 I can do because I'd have to be non-chaos. Or non-Eldar.
Can you do Tyranid?
Why can't you do Eldar?
And then quit and give me your army.
I hate Eldar.
Yeah.
Ever since Blood Bowl.
God, I don't
What
even
kind of
know.
works? I saw the thing.
Paint.
I mean, it
Too
is, but-
many models.
Yeah. That's part of it too.
Yeah.
Man.
I already have IG.
I had an orc army once with 150 boys.
So-
I had orcs in
It was the
third.
first army I ever fully painted, and I was so proud I painted 140 boys.
Yeah.
I had 30, 60, 90. Oh yeah, over 120 I think models.
Yeah.
That was
Too many models.
in third and fourth.
I'm just surprised we don't see orcs more, especially now with the changes to Smite, because freaking Weird Boy spam
We
is
might.
the best way
We
to
might
play
still
Smite
see
spam.
it.
You might still see it.
I hope so, because there's really no other, there's no, like, you don't even need to take anything else. It's just, I have 200 plus boys, and, like, as many Weird Boys as
That
I can
was,
fit into that, and just go.
Not
What's his
Jeff.
name list? Kilton. Rich Kilton.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
a good-
That's
it's
the
a
list
good
he took
list.
to SoCal Open. He played against
Yeah,
Alan.
that's true. It's really hard to move that many models.
Movement trays.
That's not legal.
Yes, they are.
That's not in the rules.
It's not in the rules.
Stop being that guy.
So you can roll uses.
So I have two other armies to pick. So orcs maybe.
Dark Eldar? They're not really Eldar.
Drukari.
I don't know. I kind of like their super heavy like tank.
Imperial Knights.
Sail. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Imp Knights.
Oh, you already have
I
Knights.
have knights already though.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, there you go. There's one step.
But see, you don't have the right Knights, so you need to
Maybe
buy
I'll
some
do,
Knights.
that's chaos. Fuck.
See?
Like Dark Mechanicum.
Yeah,
That's only
then
four
do
knights.
Mechanic.
Nope. Do
Oh,
Mechanicum.
Mechanicum. I'll use knights.
Yeah.
Mechanicum.
Get the Forge World Knights. You don't do Mechanicum.
What else? You could do.
I'll do squats.
Squats.
You can do orcs. That's not models.
Yeah.
I'm convinced squats are coming back
I am too.
because they acknowledge their existence.
Yeah. Well,
I can't believe they acknowledge their existence.
And also, I said this when what's their name came out, the Sky Dwarfs, right?
Oh, yeah.
They have the CADs that work for Space Dwarves now, right?
Yes.
Because that's what they do. They just build, new unique CADs,
And they just-
then just tweak them.
They just add a
Kroot.
power armor backpack.
Not doing Kroot.
Oh man,
Well, maybe if they come out with the Kroot mercenaries
yeah,
again.
if a real crew mercenaries book existed, I would be tempted because that's just like weird and hipster.
No.
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 Well, there's not that many other options here. You're not doing Tau, that's for sure.
Yeah, so what are you going to do?
Triple Storm Surge might be fun.
Less models, maybe.
So you're going to do Guard, you're going to do
Guard,
Mechanicum
Death
of some
Watch,
type, Death Watch,
We'll see.
Towns of the Emperor.
Oh, Imperium. Like the Talons of the Emperor.
Yeah. Why don't you do one?
Necron.
Necron. Oh no.
Oh, Necrons.
Go Necron.
Go Necrons.
Go Necron Quantum Shielding spam.
Dude, I played against that.
It's frustrating. I mean,
6 Doomsday arcs.
Yeah.
It's just frustrating, right? Like that way when you go against people are like, oh, here's all of my, heavy blah blah. And you're like,
Okay, maybe I'll do
Right. Like, whatever.
that. I'll use my nephew's Necron.
yeah, go Necrons.
Sure.
Like, be different, be bold.
Yeah, dude. Go for it.
Look, according to ITC, Death Watch is the worst army in the game. So,
Yeah, I would imagine, yes.
Go Pure Inquisition.
because Val and I could do that.
Good.
Val and Pablo went through the numbers.
Yeah. When I was, yeah, and I was looking at the article they put up today, too, yeah.
So
That's a good article. I like that
So
breakdown.
maybe I'll do the lowest four,
Yeah, do the four
the four worst armies in the game.
that aren't chaos related.
Right.
But I don't think any chaos related is at that low.
Renegades is low.
Renegades is low.
Oh, you could do Gene Sitter Cult. Yeah, I know. All right,
Okay,
John.
That's me, John.
2018.
You're already doing great nights. Oh, the other thing would be
My
try to
goal?
go to like more events,
Got more, of course.
like to travel more, but more like non-California.
Right.
Hmm.
I'm probably gonna go to Boise again.
Oh, cool.
Okay, cool.
There's a
And
couple.
talk trash on someone after they invite you to their barbecue.
Sorry about that.
I know. That didn't happen quite like that.
Right.
Adam did go to a barbecue though.
Yes.
Yes. Alan wants you to do Death Watch, but that's because Alan likes it when you fail.
Now I want to see Alan do Death Watch.
Alan's not gonna do that.
Oh, I know.
Probably fucking ranked.
Well, that requires.
Why are you complimenting Alan live on air?
Because he needs to show up, and he's not gonna show up. So
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
God, I don't know. I haven't even thought about a goal for gaming for the new year.
Or just something that excites you. It doesn't have to be a goal. Just something you're like, I look forward to this.
I look forward to seeing the next Chaos Marine book.
Whether it's Emperor's Children or
Mhm.
World Leaders
Yeah, and I'm also interested
or
about seeing the next Primarchs. There's going to be two, right?
Well, okay.
They confirmed two this year, right? Or no?
They confirmed 2, but it was I think a Forge World rep. It wasn't a GW.
So that'd be
guy.
Sanguinius and
So that means that could mean Horus Heresy.
Okay. Well, still, I'm interested in seeing Sanguinius.
yeah.
Whether it's in 30K or 40K, I don't care.
There was a
I would love to see a Sanguinius model from Forge World.
There was a Forge World open weekend or whatever they did
Yeah.
where they talked about their sketches for Sanguinius, right? So Forge World's acknowledged they're working on him. And yeah, the sketches they had and what they talked about they want to do sound fucking amazing. So
Like, I think if they did 30K Sanguinius, I'd probably buy the model. There isn't a single Primarch I've bought just because.
What about Vulcan?
I wish I could say that.
I bought Vulcan, but I bought Vulcan because I had Salamanders at the time.
Every Primarch just cause.
I don't have any of them just because, no.
I like Horus.
But Sanguinius I would totally buy just
Oh,
because
yeah, I don't
I think the wings would be awesome.
No, he just came out though.
Yeah.
You have Magnus?
Huh? No, I don't have the newest one. I don't have since the new book. Right. Well, I have a Magnus I have a Demon Magnus. But I don't have the Forge World
No, you
Magnus.
don't have the
Yeah.
Horus Heresy. Magnus.
Yeah, Horse Heresy.
But I'm also interested in seeing. I'm really looking forward to whatever Primarchs come out for 40K next.
Yeah, no, they've been.
I can't wait to see what the next Loyalist one will be.
Yeah,
how they
that's
do
really
it.
the question.
I would love for it to be like a really wolf-eyes Lehman Russ.
That'd be cool.
Or
Like a Wolfen.
Like a Wolfen version of Lehman Russ. That would be cool.
It's not disconcerting. Honestly, I'd love to see them do Khan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right, just because to see just this huge dude on this badass bike that can easily
God,
be
see,
a
I
Tomb Raider
don't
conversion.
trust him to put him on the bike. I
They
don't.
put what's his name on the bike? He doesn't have Moondrake or Moondrake.
Right.
Or
I don't trust them to put. Yeah, I don't trust them to put Khan on the bike. What?
When someone says hi,
Oh.
say hi.
Hey, guy.
So I'm just
You want it to be the lion next to the lion would be cool too.
Yeah, there's a lot of. You can make a really characterful model of the lion.
I should clarify this. I don't trust Forge World or GW to put Khan on the bike. Like if they bring Khan back for 40K,
He's not going to be on the bike.
he's not gonna put him. They're not gonna put him up. GW's not gonna put him on the bike. And I don't
wanna
trust
do right
Forge
now.
World to have that type of like.
Because right now, none of them are on. Like the most, I think, is Perturabo on the Nighthead.
All right, Korax has his
Thorax
wings.
has his wings.
Right.
Sanguinius will obviously have his wings, but that's because those are like parts
Those are
of those
extant.
models. It's
Yeah.
not like an additional part of the model. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
I hope they do. I really do hope they do.
Yeah,
It'd be a big
we'll see.
bike.
Khan Ghost Rider style. Yeah, they just
Exactly.
put out Ghost Rider as
No,
the
just
model.
Doom Rider.
Like Doom Rider, yeah.
Doom Rider back.
Doom Rider. Oh my God, Doom Rider. That fucker.
I do cocaine.
Exactly.
All right, keep going.
Oh man.
Danny, any?
What am I excited? I keep hearing rumors, but it sounds like that wish listy crap of a World Eaters Codex because that would
I
kind
think they'll do one eventually. It's just a matter of when.
I don't know if it'll be this year, but if we got an actual Angron model and
Yes.
a World Eaters Codex, then kind of my main armies are satisfied
Yeah.
and I feel good about life.
I think the next has got to be Slanesh.
I mean,
It's
it
the
seems like
oldest range in terms of like those models for
Yeah.
CSMs. Khan on rollerblades, nice.
that'd actually be hysterical.
Yes.
Wheelies.
Although I wonder, I keep thinking
Please.
if they do that, the malign Portents thing in AOS doesn't match up because I feel like I would hope GW's smart enough to know like if we're bringing in whole new Slanesh range, it has to be for AOS and 40K at the same time. So
Okay.
they've got to kind of have that big splash together because in the AOS storyline, Slanesh is missing. Right, he's been captured by
Etus or
some of the
whatever,
other,
right?
No,
No, the
he's captured.
what is it? Tyrion and and Teclis captured him, right? Like with
Fucking
Male
hell,
Kiss
okay.
or whatever his name is now. And that's the whole thing that they've been kind of stringing along is that eventually, Slanesh is going to, find his way out.
Right, because the Eldar fuck everybody over.
Yeah. So we'll see. I feel like if
I think a monocorn demon army would be competitive. We were talking about that earlier. I don't think it'd be competitive, but it would certainly ruin some of the competitive
It
list
might
days.
be like an outlier that like takes someone by
it's a dark
surprise.
horse.
Yeah, it's a dark
right?
horse.
Especially because they do have some psychic defense, which you need, right? They have some way to deny. And
They
things
have
like that.
Is it a command point? Is it a stratagem? Like it's in the faction focus.
Yeah,
Right.
something like that.
They could deny on a 4+.
Right, that's really good. That gives them some moves. It's just, it depends. Honestly, if the skull cannon actually is decent and gives them a real ranged threat, they could actually maybe work because you have enough melee, but then you actually have a shooting base to make it, to do some work. And if they have deployment shenanigans,
Yes.
right? Because that's what you need. You need to be able to outflank or deep strike.
The other thing is if the rumors are true, then you're able to spend CP to deep strike.
Yeah.
And if you're able to deep strike a Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that'd be amazing.
Because the rumor right now is 1 CP if it's 8 power level or less, 2 if it's 9 or more.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're able to deep strike a Bloodthirster or Scarbrand or whoever,
I hope they make Scarbrand better.
well, his abilities are good.
That's a nice cat. Don't get mad at it. That's the one we like, or I like.
I like this cat. This cat's nice.
Yeah.
With the ability to kill flyers that can't hover.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty hilarious.
Fulgrim should get Nagas.
That would be appropriate.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be,
And it's not that hard to use the Trigon model as the base cat.
No, remember I did that for a Demon Prince once. Remember when I was playing Demon Flying Circus in 6th?
Yeah.
And the one I used the Trigon bottom.
Yeah.
And I put the Demon Prince on top.
Yeah.
That was a cool model. I like that model.
Yeah.
There's also the old school Slanesh Fantasy Demon Prince.
Oh, yeah. Or I actually really like the old school Slanesh champion of the Exalted Champion of Slanesh on the Boob Worm.
Oh, yeah, that's right, the Boob Worm.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Good old Boob Worm. Gotta bring that back.
That's right.
They're not going to bring that back.
They're not going to bring that back, unfortunately.
Looking at the Demon S models, they're not going to bring that.
No.
I know.
Oh, well.
I wanted... when else do you get to say Boob Worm?
It's true.
On this podcast.
Not very often.
Yeah.
We can make it a weekly segment, but...
So anything else?
Hopefully...
Any questions on the stream while we're winding down?
Yeah.
We've answered a lot of questions on the stream today.
Yeah.
There's a lot
Any others?
I like that the chat was so active today.
Yeah.
That was good.
Thanks,
That was
Cuddly Bunny.
Yeah.
You're the real MVP.
The Disco Minotaur.
The Disco Minotaur, yes. I remember that guy too.
Yeah.
Do you remember the guy I had modeled I used him for a Demon Prince. It was like the Manticore, and I had him modeled with the sign of chaos in his hands, and he was like offering it to you.
He's like, chaos!
Chaos, buddy?
Yeah.
Would you like some chaos?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that was a good one
That
too.
was back in the day.
Yeah, that was my Word Bearers army.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was way back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to go to one of the tournaments in the Midwest.
Okay.
That'd be cool, right?
It's either
Just see
Iron
it.
Halo, Flying Monkey. There's one in May.
Just go to Adepticon.
That's like, well, I can't go this year. It would have to be next year.
Yeah, that'd be next year.
That's a possibility too.
The TFG Hangout at LVO, is there a TFG Hangout?
Yeah, we talked about it last time.
Did we?
Yeah.
I don't remember. No, there's no dress code, bro. I'm going to be wearing...
The dress code is you must bring Danny a drink.
Yeah, the dress code is buying us beer.
So I think we're gonna do it. We'll do it Friday night after dinner.
Yeah.
So what? 10.
Probably closer to 11. Right, because we
Yeah.
usually don't eat dinner until like 8:30.
Yeah, how long do we stay? That's not the other dinner.
Oh,
Friday
yeah.
night is we just go eat dinner.
Yeah.
I thought Friday night is when we have the dinner.
That was last year we did. Last year was on Friday.
I thought we did it Saturday.
No,
Mm-mm.
we
Did
always
it
do
Friday.
Fridays. Because we're fresher, because Saturday night we're like freaking
Okay, so
dead.
it would be Saturday night.
Yeah, because Saturday night was when we went to Johnny Rockets with David Singer, remember?
Yeah.
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 Saturday
And then
night's like our
because my
low-key
parents
chill
were in
night,
town, I was obligated to go and see them. That was Saturday night.
Yes, it was, because I did the same thing, because I had to go
Right.
see my parents because they were also in town.
Right, yes. That won't be the case anymore.
No, that was actually our Thursday night. That's when I had to do that.
Yes. So,
So John won't be there if it's due Saturday.
if we do Saturday night, I won't be there. Because I have to fly home.
We do Friday.
Friday, we'll switch. We can switch.
I don't
It's
care.
fine.
Whatever you
Yeah, I
guys
won't
want
be
to do.
there.
Be there.
Yeah, you're part of the team.
You're part of the team, John.
Whatever.
Do you want to be there?
You're our tech support.
Of course I want to be there.
All right. So our tech support, we'll do it Friday at 11 since it's Vegas.
I haven't
Sweet.
made reservations at the usual spot yet, so that's easy.
Okay.
All right, I'll switch it to Saturday.
Cool.
Or I'll just make them for Saturday.
So real quick,
How long till Danny comes back again? This Danny, the one sitting here?
Has
he's
other
the one
Danny
that's
ever
been
been
on.
on?
No.
Danny Kwan?
He won't come on
Quante? Why not?
because he doesn't like John.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
What? Danny Kwan loves me. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, he's shy.
Nah.
Yeah. Because we wanted to have him on the podcast proper once, right?
Yeah.
No, we wanted him on the stream once. He's like, no.
Oh, for Blood
He's
Angels.
camera shy.
Yeah, he's camera shy. Danny Kwan's been in battle reports we've done.
Yeah, that's well.
Because you don't see
want to
him.
be live, I guess.
Right. That's fine.
Danny, when will you be back? Danny's schedule is very
up in the air.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thursday, when we do them on Thursdays, it's easier because then I don't have to wake up at 3:45 in the morning.
Sure.
So that helps.
Okay. We can do that.
But I'll be back when I can. Like I like being here. I like messing with John.
Cool.
Like, giving Adam terrible ideas.
Petting my cat.
Yeah.
So Blackmore wants to know: should he stay an action day in Seville, Granada, or Tangiers?
Tangiers.
Oh, okay, Tangiers, Alan. Then if I want to go to Adepticon, I have a free room. Well, I guess I could go.
Hey, you could.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We'll see.
Depends on your work schedule.
True.
Yeah.
There's one about Q1. Oh, what do you guys want to see come out of Q1?
I really
Emperor's
like to see
Children.
Orcs.
Yeah, I don't think you can see Emperor's Children.
I want to see Orcs.
It's what I would like to see. What do you want to see? It wasn't what do I think's going to come out.
I'm saying no. I'm hearing you, and I'm denying you.
Well,
I'm
you're invalidating my feelings, and
Yeah.
that's not okay. I'm going to have to go get a degree in therapy
I'm
or something.
recognizing what you were saying, and I'm denying
I'm
you.
going to go to a diploma mill and get a degree in therapy and then talk to you about it. About validating my feelings.
Orcs. I really want to see another Xenos. Right, not a Chaos. not a
Sure.
Imperium.
That's good. I would like that.
Yeah.
Well, probably Tau.
Or Tau. Actually, Necrons need it more than Orcs do. Right? At least Orcs have a legitimate competitive build. Necrons just look at themselves and cry.
I think chances of new Noise Marines this year are good. I think it's a good chance for Emperor's Children this year. I don't think it's quarter one. I mean, I agree with that. It's not good for quarter one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the year.
Yeah. Xenos next would be cool. Orcs would be cool.
A new
Or
Chaos-
Necrons.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure new Chaos, just like generally new, like a really big new thing for either Chaos or Imperium is going to be summer and later because they need it to start off the financial year well.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
The quarter one, I guess, yeah, sometimes Xenos. I would prefer Orcs, but I'm thinking it might be Tau.
I prefer Necrons, but sure.
Yeah, Necrons need it the most, right?
I'll take any Xenos at this point.
No, even Tom's saying Necrons need it first.
Yeah.
They do need it first.
That's because he
Yeah.
doesn't play Tau anymore. There, I put it out there.
Yeah, that's true. Tommy's given up.
Giving up the ghost.
He's given up the greater good, man. He's become disillusioned.
Well, that's what happens with the greater good, right? You buy into it, it seems all rainbows and
It's all
sunshine.
rainbows and free healthcare.
Until you ask, according to my internet in North Korea, it's fine.
There's internet in North Korea?
Yeah.
So they say.
Is there one fiber optic cable to Kim Jong Un's house so he can read Donald Trump's tweets and then that's it?
Probably one website.
Twitter?
I like how Tommy has to defend himself. Like, I didn't sell my models.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I guess some type of Xenos.
Yeah, again, I think we need that balance because it's just the game is so Imperium Chaos heavy, which I understand. That's the narrative thread; those are their biggest sellers. But it would really add a nice diversity, especially because the Xenos typically offer such a different play style than either Chaos or Imperium, right? That it just makes the game more interesting when you're seeing different kinds of builds and not just 3 Fire Raptors. Right, or 30, or whatever, 60 Death Company, which is now a thing, I guess.
Apparently.
Death Company are good. They were good in the index. They're just better now.
Yeah.
Right, like that's the thing people
Because
forgot.
everything else around them became good too, so they're not usable. Whereas they were the only really good thing in the
Well,
index.
also just the flat, +1 to wound in combat is like...
Yeah.
So with that being said,
Yeah.
call it a night.
Yeah, I think so.
Alright.
Yeah.
Some of us have to be places.
Some of us had to be places. Some of us has to go sleep.
Yeah.
Some of us just want to stop streaming. Yeah, I gotta go play some PUBG with Ray apparently.
So just a reminder, everybody, follow us on Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. We have a website.
Go to the website, tfgradio.com.
Sorry, I haven't been posing. The last month has been death for me. So.
Lazy. You have to cut your pay.
I know, right? How do you cut zero?
We get paid?
Yeah.
No, I just start paying you.
You get a Christmas bonus.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
That's about it.
Well, I enjoyed my one last year. I enjoyed this one. So
Exactly.
we can keep doing this, I guess. It's fine.
Just look up TFG Radio. See us on iTunes for the Twitch stream when I do the shows with Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, our Aussie friend.
Don't forget, we do have the Patreon contest. And as little as $1
Sure.
provides this great content
Yes.
for everybody.
Professional.
Professional grade.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I won't go that far.
We even have lights and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, there's lights, there's cameras,
So don't forget to
there's expensive computers and microphones. What do you people want
there's
from
a
us?
bodega cat.
I crack my knuckles in front of the microphone and people will say that we rolled dice in the reviews
It's funny
and got
that-
mad at us.
So yeah, they think it's rolling dice.
No, it's just my knuckles.
Cheers. And then that's probably what's going to help me or us if any of us want to go, go to tournaments.
Yeah.
So just
So
go,
Adam,
just
it'll
go to
help
Patreon, look at TFG Radio. Yeah, really.
My kid learns to sleep through the night, maybe.
As little as $1. The contest ends February 1st. Then we'll do a drawing. One entry for each dollar and multiple entries for every month going back to July.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. I think that's
Yeah.
it. That's the website.
Look forward to the other videos and articles explaining tabling and concessions for the LVO because we don't want it to be an issue.
And hopefully maybe a Shadespire battle report.
Oh, yeah,
or
sure.
something too.
And then we'll probably do one more show, Twitch before.
We should just do a live stream of Shadespire. It's easy.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
And then I think that's it.
All of my teams are painted.
Nice. Okay.
None of mine are.
Well, we'll just use his teams.
They all
All
look
right.
pretty good. All
So
pretty
we'll
like that.
see you guys at LVO. And if you're not going to be at LVO, then we'll talk to you another
Yeah,
time.
Friday night.
Friday night hangout.
Friday night hangout.
Friday
10
night
o'clock?
TFG hangout.
10 o'clock.
Be at the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Be at the bar. We'll be there.
we'll be there
Yeah.
with our TFG shirts so you know who we are.
Sure.
You should know who we are to begin with.
That's true. But I'm not on the screen as much anymore.
But everyone can hear that voice.
The dulcet tones.
The dulcet tone. Yep. Darian loves it.
I know he does.
Good night.
Good night, guys.